This conference will now be recorded. Muted.
Been getting a lot of check-ins, so Lou, who runs the net, K6LMR, has asked if he could use the 2-meter repeater 147645 on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock for an astronomy net. If you have any interest in it at all, please check in on 2 meters Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. Back to you, Eric.
Thanks, Heiko. And we're still waiting for Ray.
Hello, can you hear me now, Eric?
Oh, yes, we can hear you, Ray.
Okay, yeah, it booted up finally by completely rebooting.
Okay, so we're just doing some initial announcements. Heiko made a first announcement, and I'm going to go over to Canute. Canute has an announcement for the net. Canute, go ahead and mic yourself, I should say, and give your announcement.
Okay, am I getting through all right?
Loud and clear.
Hi, this is Canute, K6HIV, the club's PIO. If you're planning to participate as Class 1 or Class 2 Delta or 1 or 2 Echo in this year's field day, I'd like to talk to you regarding a public relations piece. Please contact me at k6hiv@sora.org. Thank you.
Hey, Canute?
Yes.
Canute? Dale, W6EDT, was also talking about putting something together. Perhaps, I don't see Dale on here tonight. Maybe he is. If so, you two should coordinate. You know Dale, our secretary, W6EDT?
Yes, definitely. Former student of mine.
There you go. Well, you two should talk, and I will echo what everybody said. If you're going to be working from home, which pretty much you'll have to do, in fact, you can be a Class C, whatever, however you're going to do it. Let Canute know so he can put together a piece for us.
Okay. Hey, Ray?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ray.
Dale is not our secretary. He's our newsletter editor.
Well, that's true. I misspoke, didn't I? Anyway, yes. Our pubs director was talking about doing the same thing. So if he and Newt talk to one another, we'll probably have a dynamite thing. Okay, Eric?
Oh, sorry, I'm muted.
Yeah, I don't have any other announcements. And I'm not sure, I can't, right now I see something that says share your screen. I probably don't want that, correct?
Don't share your screen, but if you want to put on your camera so people can see you talk about things, that would be cool.
Okay, well, the other thing I would need to do is be able to see the PowerPoint. So.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I got to get to those particular things. So do we have any other announcements from the board? Steve, Ed, Lori said she had none.
I got a couple requests. I guess it's kind of an announcement.
All right, Steve, you got the floor. Go for it.
Well, I don't want to fall through the floor. Anyway, the testing for VEs, online exams, all that good stuff, we're getting a lot of requests for it. And I've got another practice session set up for later this week. The details will be all sent out to email. But what I need to happen or have happen is any VEs who haven't responded to my last email, if I didn't have your email address or whatnot, get in touch with me if you can tonight or tomorrow via email k6uvr@sora.org or on my mobile phone if you have it or don't have it, whatnot. We're live streaming on YouTube, so I'd rather not give out my cell phone here, but many people in the club have it, and I believe it might be on the header of the newsletter. So get in touch with me if you can to help out. We've got a small group who've already authenticated and signed up to be able to grade exams and everything, but we could always use more. So there'll be a gathering at some point later this week. We can all hook up and get a little one-on-one time. I can show everybody how it works, and there's a great 15-minute introductory video I can shoot you as well from one of the developers. I think you're going to like it. Other than that, I still haven't heard back from anybody at the City of Lake Forest. I've left a couple messages to see if we can get permission, not a permit per se, but permission to gather at one of the parks. So use some of the picnic gazebos or shade gazebos and give some tests, kind of like we do it at Field Day, to have an in-person testing session. So if that's something that interests anybody, or anybody who wants to upgrade or take an exam, once again, get in touch with me and I'll push harder against the City of Lake Forest. I don't have any contacts at Mission Viejo, so I'm not bothering them at this point. And that's all I got, Eric.
Okay. I was multitasking, so not 100% paying attention. We get a lot of questions about testing and Mission Viejo, Norman Murray Center opening up. Did I not hear you say anything about that?
No, I don't know anything about it other than last I heard, I think it was planned for July that they might be available, but I would have to defer that to others in the board who might know.
So that's the latest we have from the city. Yes, Steve.
There
Okay.
we go.
And just so you know, I sent out a message. There was a voicemail that came in. I responded to it, but I figured you would probably touch base with that person as well. Okay. In classic general meeting style, I know there's some other announcements to be made. Charlie Spielman, I know, likes to announce for Aries Races. Charlie, would you like to announce tonight?
I think I'm coming through now.
You are?
Okay. Because of the COVID-19, we're not meeting at City Hall like we usually do. But if anyone is interested in becoming part of Mission Viejo Races Aries, you can always email me at wa6ruz@SOARA.org, and I'll send you information. Or we can talk. Back to Eric.
All right, thank you, Charlie. And by the way, for those of you who are in the group know, but those who are not, our last meeting was in the parking lot via Simplex. It was almost like going to the drive-in movie theater and talking to each other on radio. So that was kind of fun. I actually enjoyed that meeting. So, and who knows when we're going to get back together in real style again, but that was fun. Does anybody else present, and looks like we got about 46 people present right now. Does anybody have an announcement they'd like to make? You can go ahead and unmic and go ahead and announce. Okay, well, not hearing any. We would normally go for coffees and snacks and all kinds of stuff about this time and gather back together. But if you don't already have your snack and drink by this time, well, you can go run. We won't see you, and you won't be making any noise. So, Ray, we're going to kick it over to you, and we're going to start talking about Field Day. While I've got people in the room, if anyone here is, I did send this out in the email. Sorry, I'm trying to do multiple things at once. If someone here can present a little bit about the FT8, just how to set it up for, I think it's a Foxhound mode. And explain how to do that, because I know there's a lot of people that like to do FT8. And if we got someone that can demonstrate the logging software a little bit, I've purchased it. I can launch it and share the screen, or I can give you permissions, whatever works easiest. But no one responded to me on that. So if someone would like to try to do that, that would be really cool. And Steve, if you want to do that, that's great. Ed, if you want to do that, if you're here, that'd be great. Just let me know. Or text a private message over to Heiko, and he can bop me on the head and let me know. So, with no further ado, Ray, I'm going to hand it over to you. I can run the PowerPoint for you, and you can just let me know when you need me to change slides. You've got the floor.
Okay, I've got a quick question for you, Eric. Do you have the video that was online for the logging software?
I can pull up that information for you.
Okay, great. Thanks, and welcome, Lou. Didn't think you were going to be able to make it. Super. Didn't really miss a lot. Somebody asked about the person who was talking about remote testing. I saw a text come up. Heiko, did you get that one?
I already responded to him, Ray.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Steve. I just didn't want him to feel ignored. Thank you. Okay. Well, as you can see on your screens, everyone should be seeing a blue box in the middle of their screen, which is the beginning of, apologies, Lori, a PowerPoint. And the topic of the PowerPoint, as it says, Field Day 2020 with COVID. Now, I'm going to dispel a couple rumors right away. The ARRL has not made sweeping changes. As of the 28th of May, which was the last change, they've made one adjustment and one actual rule change, and we will be talking about those tonight. So, but everything's pretty much the same as it's always been. Their challenge to us is to think outside the box when you're not able to meet as a group. And of course, we don't think it's wise to meet as a group. Our park permit was pulled, a whole variety of reasons. We're encouraging everybody to do field day on themselves, but we'll show you not only how to do it by yourself, but to give SOARA credit as well. So you will get personal credit and your score can be added to SOARA's if you so choose. That's all in the entry form, and we'll get to that in a bit. With that, next slide, please. Okay, well, there was some question about field day and something about spring solstice, summer solstice or something. First thing in the ARRL field day packet, field day is always the 4th full weekend in June. So that's just how you can plan for the future, how you can plan for this month, obviously. The operating hours are 1800 UTC Saturday to 1800 UTC Sunday, which works out for us 11 a.m. on Saturday to 11 a.m. on Sunday. The bands you can use are listed here: 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. And VHF, UHF, 50 megahertz and up. The WARC bands, 15, 17, those are not included. Only the 6 HF bands that you see in front of you are the only ones listed. Next, oh, and I encourage everybody, the yellow highlight down at the bottom, get your own field day rules. All you have to do is Google ARR Field Day 2020 rules, and boom, you'll come right up with the page. Be the first thing that hops up on your Google. So it's really handy to have a copy of those rules. Next slide, please. Okay, the station classes are club or non-club, but there's 3 or portable, 3 or more operators. And of course, as the note says at the bottom, class 3A is what SOARA's usual class. Now, Class A, 3+ operators, the 3 in SOARA's Class 3A is the number of HF transmitters, not counting the GoTo station. So we chose that category years ago because it's a good one and it fits us. Another class is Class A battery. Again, it's a club, non-club, portable, but with 3 or more operators. It's unlikely that it's not impossible, but it's unlikely that most of us will be wanting to enter those classes. We're not going to talk much more about them. If anybody has questions, I'll try to field those. But what we're going to do is talk about Class B, Class C. B is being 1 or 2 persons portable, and Class C being mobile. And to be a mobile, you have to be capable of in-motion operation. A HF rig in the back of your pickup with a tall, 20-foot pole stuck in one of the stake sides and hoisting a wire aloft. Sorry, Greg, doesn't count. Yeah, it has to be capable of being operated while you're in motion. You don't have to be in motion, but to call yourself a mobile, you have to be capable of that. So next slide, please. Okay, Class D's are home station, permanently fixed. That would be your shack, if you will. Class C are home stations. Again, your shack, but with emergency power. And there is a difference, by the way, between emergency power and alternate power, and we'll get into that. And finally, Class F, EOCs. If any group or that you belong to is activating an actual EOC, you might be working in Class F. Probably not terribly likely, and again, I just wanted to let you know. Next slide, please. Okay, Class B stations have the same rules as Class A, have always had, with one exception, or with an exception. That's one or two person operating total anytime. You know, you can operate 8 hours and your buddy can come in and operate 8 hours, but then you would have to go operate the next or whatever. Only two people operating in a Class B is going to be portable for field day. Nothing, no fixed equipment. So we're talking, you know, in a tent, in your backyard, or not a tent, but on your picnic table, if you will, your patio table, a temporary antenna that you put up for field day, your radio, you know, just not your normal shack operation. And on a Class B station, you don't get any GOTA or any free additional VHF, UHF. Now, you can work VHF, UHF. You just have to turn off your HF transmitter, switch on your VHF, UHF transmitter, and start working with that. But so you, with Class A's, you can have a GOTA and an additional VHF, UHF that don't count, but you still log the points. A little bit complicated, but at any rate, you don't get that benefit with a Class B. Next slide, please. A real disadvantage is you must operate with a maximum of 5 watts. Next slide, please. Okay, Class C mobile. Again, it has to be installed in your vehicle, has to be capable of in-motion operation. It will qualify for emergency power credit, but does not qualify for the 5 times multiplier that power and battery stations do. So even though your vehicle battery is probably powering your rig, and therefore qualifies for emergency power, it does not qualify for the five times multiplier. Next slide, please. Class D home stations are, again, your permanent shack. Normally can only contact Class A, B, C, E, and F. In other words, no other Class Ds. However, this is the one of the 2 rules changes the ARRL has made. For this one time only, 2020 field day, Class D home stations may contact other Class D home stations. So that's one of the 2 rules. We'll talk about the next one later. And no Class DX contact credit for a home station. They feel that's kind of unfair because you could be sitting there with a giant beam on a tower and easily contact other countries. And by the way, Class DX, for those who don't know, is non-North America stations. If you're an ARRL station or a Radio Amateur Canada station, then you're a field day station. Or you're doing a field day contact, even if you're not officially going to submit an entry or be a field day. Other stations, Latin America, Europe, Asia, would be DX stations, Class DX, when you log them. So again, a Class D home station cannot log DX stations. Next slide, please. A Class E home station is in your permanent location, your regular shack, but you're operating on emergency power. You can work all field day stations, and a motor-driven generator is okay for your emergency power. And you'll see why they make that distinction a little bit later. So again, your home shack and can be on emergency power, but and a motor driven or generator can be one of those emergency power sources. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. I'm getting a signal saying I have a poor network connection, and it's been doing that to me all day. The internet's kind of flaky at my house, apparently. But anyway, Class F emergency operations centers. I don't know if anybody's going to be operating or opening an EOC, an official EOC, because to be an EOC, it has to be officially established by federal, state, county, city, or other civil government entity, and it has to be or a chapter of a qualified, established disaster relief entity. A couple of examples there: American Red Cross or the Salvation Army. I know, for instance, Caltrans has an EOC, and some other agencies do as well. But if anybody's interested, you may just let me know. But we're not going to spend any more time on it for this presentation. Next slide, please. Okay, multipliers. Multipliers are different than bonus points, just so we don't get confused. For QSOs, contacts, phone gives you 1 point per contact. CW and digital both give you 2 points per contact. So you FT8 folks are going to make out like banshees on this this field day. So again, phone 1 point, CW or digital 2 points per contact. You add up your total number of contacts and go by the multipliers. In other words, your total number of phone contacts only count for 1. If you made an additional 50-point digital contacts, that would be 100. That's how the multipliers work. Next slide, please. So there are multipliers for power too. If you operate 5 watts or less and you have no commercial power or no motor generator, you can get a 5 times multiplier on your 5-watt contacts. Commercial power or motor generator, you only get 2-time multiplier for a 5-watt or less station. Again, the critical point there is it's 5 watts or less. 150 watts or less, any or all contacts are worth 2 points as a multiplier. 151 watts or more, they're only worth 1. So that's why SOARA operates normally 3A, but stays typically 100 watts or slightly more, depending on the radio capability, but in all cases below 150 watts to get the ×2 multiplier. I think most of us at home will qualify for the ×2 contacts multiplier. And whether or not you qualify is determined by the maximum power of any transmitter you use throughout field day. So if you work with a 5-watt for a while thinking you're going to get the 5 times multiplier, and then you switch over to 100 watts, nope. You will be considered the 100-watt class the entire field day, no matter what power you actually used, or the 150-watt class. So your multipliers will only be ×2 and not ×5. Next slide, please. Okay, now bonus points are different from multipliers. They're added after you've calculated your score and your multipliers. If you're in 100% emergency power and a motor generator is okay, you get an additional 100 points. So if you have your portable generator in the backyard and it's quiet enough the neighbors don't throw rocks at you, you get 100 points per transmitter. Media publicity, which Knut was talking about earlier. You get, if you are published, or you only need to really submit the press release with your station particulars mentioned, you can get an additional 100 bonus points. And I think we contemplate making sure everybody who is a single op but SOARA affiliated station is going to get the 100 points. I think that's Knut's plan. If you originate a message to the section manager, and that has to be by RF, and cell phones don't count, even though, yes, technically they are work over RF and little portable radios. Ham radio, you can get 100 bonus points there. Now, there are some parameters to that message. It has to contain a number of things. So obviously your call sign, your location, your operating condition, that kind of thing. That's in those rules that I encourage you to order. And if you submit your entry online, I called it a web submission, that's another 50-point bonus that you can add. If you youth participation, 18 years or younger, that's a 20-point bonus. So for you guys who have children or grandchildren around the house and they only need to make single contact with you as control operator, and you get not only the 1 point or 1 or 2 points for their you get 20 bonus points to add to the end of your score. Next slide, please.
Ray, if I may,
You may.
do you want to add anything to that about media publicity while we're on this slide?
What would I need to add?
I was talking to Knut.
I'm on. I asked for 1D and 1E, or 1 or 2 E and D, but Ray just gave me some more information there. So I think I'd also like to hear from anybody who is doing the 1 Bravo.
Okay. Nothing else to add on this slide?
No, help me out, and we'll get this media publicity. I think this is one that we're going to get in.
Okay, that's a lot of points. That's why I was asking.
Right, and thank you, Eric, for doing that. And Knut, it's my understanding that in the media publicity or the press release, your station would have to be mentioned. So, which is why Knut wants everybody to contact him with their particulars. Correct,
Yeah,
Knut?
and the person selected, I need to do an interview. The person selected, his call letters would also be on there. I don't know if that makes any difference. and there's got to be some way to link it to the club too. So
exactly, and we will. Maybe I can help you with that verbiage, and also we're going to talk about linking to the club, even though everybody will be operating under their own call signs. The BC and D stations. There's a way on the form to link it to a club, and we'll talk about that in a little bit down the road here. So yes, thank you, Knut. Here's more bonus point. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Did I have a question?
Yes. On the last slide for younger children, is that per child?
No. I don't believe so. I remember if you're a Class D station, you can only have 2 operators. So that younger person counts as an operator, if I understand it correctly. So it would be you and your grandchild or whatever, although the grandchild or child only needs to make 1 contact of all the ones you make. Does that help, Mac?
Yes, sir. Roger, Roger. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Mac.
Ray, can that be a third party, or do they have to be licensed?
No, they can be third party.
Cool. All
the
right.
idea is to get young people interested in amateur radio. You will be the control operator. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now alternate power is another 100 bonus points. And that is no commercial power or no petroleum-driven generator. If you happen to have a wood-fired steam generator or they talk about propane being okay, and to me, that's a petroleum product. But so I'm not clear on that. They talk about water generators. They talk about wind generators. So if you're a non-petroleum driven generator, you need to make a minimum of 5 contacts under this condition of no commercial power, no petroleum-driven generator, and you also need to submit a separate list of those 5 or more alternate power contacts. Again, you only need to submit 5. So that's a fairly easy 100 points. If you have a battery laying around and you could make 5 contacts quickly with a battery, especially if the battery was charged by some alternate means, then you're using alternate power. And so, you know, I'm going to charge my battery with the solar panels, just like we do for regular field day, and then make our 5 or more contacts on that. Only need 5 contacts and you get 100 points. Anything more, I don't know if they even want to see because they're separately listed. They want to see at least 5 contacts done with the alternate power. And then finally, yes, sir.
So just a straight battery for 5 contacts, that would be good for this particular points.
Technically, that battery should be charged not using commercial power or a petroleum-driven generator. Let your conscience be your guide.
Get your kids on a bicycle and tell them to power that battery up.
Exactly. That would be the perfect alternate power. All right. And of course, if you get a perfect copy of the W1AW and K6K KPH Field Day Bulletin, you also get a 100-point bonus that you can add to your final score. The K6 KPH, I believe, is in Hawaii, and W1AW, of course, is in Connecticut. And it's a unique, it's broadcast multiple times and in multiple modes, but it is a unique message. It's not available anywhere on the net, let's say. And it's you need 100% copy to get the 100 points.
Right. For those who aren't familiar with that, somewhat myself, can you explain a little more what different modes, like my initial thought is that's only coming across in CW. Is that an incorrect thought?
That's an incorrect thought. It's given in phone, and I believe they're going to do 1 or 2 digital modes. I have not delved into that part of it yet. I've got the information packet, and it's quite thick. In addition to the entry packet, and also in addition, well, no, if you get the information packet, you also receive a copy of the rules. So you can either just get the rules if you wish, or you can order the information packet just going to the ARRL website, ARRL.org. Look up Field Day or search Field Day, and on the left side of the screen will be a whole field of things come up for you, and somewhere on that screen as well will be order the information packet, which is an online packet you download, and that also has your entry forms in it. So, and it will also talk about the bulletin, that sort of thing. Okay?
Okay, I got a question for you. Dale, W6EDT, also mentioned in the chat that we can also send ARRL messages to each other, get 10 points per message, up to 10 messages. Do you understand what he's saying?
Yes, I do, and that is correct. The messages have to be transferred between one ham and another, and they have to borrow. So, but they don't have to be, terribly formal. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess. I'm also looking out for the newbie who doesn't know what we're talking about and how does that happen.
No, you contact another station and say you have message traffic, and then you read them your message, and they may want to read you one back, and so they can get the 10 points too, and they may be willing to take all 10 of yours. So in the past, I've sent them through the national traffic system, and I don't know if that's going to be up and running. And we've sent them. In fact, Charlie's group, Mission Viejo Aries Races, had them once we train them or they're one of their members by radio. And Canute was often the entry point there. I would transmit to Canute. Canute would receive, and then Canute would forward through the national traffic system. I am not terribly familiar with a national traffic system, but I've actually sent messages to my relatives on the East Coast, and 2 weeks later they get a phone call from a ham saying, "We have a message for you." I don't think it's necessary to go to that extreme, but at any rate, do you, Canute, are you knowledgeable about that?
I'm going to have to say no, Rhea, but I'll be glad to look into it.
Would you please? I'd appreciate it. Because that would be another avenue. And finally, this is the next slide, right?
Yes,
Entry
sir.
submission. Okay, you got the option of web or US mail to the ARRL. And remember, web submission to me is easier and it gives you 50 points. It must be postmarked or submitted by July 28th of this year. And again, I recommend that you download the information packet because, among other things, it does talk about how to submit your entry and gives you entry forms. If you wish to manually log, you don't think you're going to be operating an extended time period, they provide log sheets for you. Everything's in the right format. So next slide, please. I think there are more. Okay, the exchange. Field day is like a contest. It's very terse. We don't generally do a lot of talking. And your information you provide to the station you're contacting and the information they in return provide to you, which you will log, are their call, their station class. Let's say you're a 1 Delta because you're working at home, and your ARRL section. And our ARRL section is orange. Its abbreviation is ORG, and generally over the radio, we'll just say Oscar Romeo Golf. So you see the example there. This is N6XYZ. We're 1 Bravo ORG Oscar Romeo Golf. And they'll say, thank you for the 1 Bravo Oscar Romeo Golf. We are da-da-da-da. Whatever their section, whatever their class and section is. You should already have their call sign because if they were calling CQ, you acknowledge them, or vice versa, they will give you the call sign first. Does that ask everybody? Because, well, on field day, you'll hear CQ field day, CQ field day. This is Alpha Echo 6 Hotel calling CQ field day and listening. And then somebody will come back, Alpha Echo 6 Hotel. This is N6XYZ. We are 1 Bravo Orange, Oscar Romeo Golf. You? And you'll go back. I'm 1 Charlie San Gabriel Valley, SGV. There's also a list in the information packet of all the ARRL sections in the US and Canada. I think California has the most. Many are one station or one state or a couple of states grouped. But California, I think, has 6 or 7 sections. There's LAX, there's SGV, San Gabriel Valley, there's the one for San Diego. So it gets pretty, anyway. So, and logging software, we have used in the past and has worked very well. The n3fjp.org/field day. Google that or go to that URL. You will get a copy of the software. They would like a donation. It's nominal, $6 or $8. I don't remember exactly. And once you bought it, you get free updates every year. So,
Frank, this is John Curiezis.
there you go. And that's one of our sheets. Go ahead.
Just check the website. It's not .org, it's .com to bring up that software.
Oh, did I say ORG? It should be .com. My bad. N3fjp.com, correct? /field day. Is that correct, John?
That's correct.
Okay, super. Thank you. And here's what the page looks like. Is this the video, Eric?
That's not the video. That's actually the software page itself.
Okay. And what you do with the software, you can work the same station on multiple bands. You can also work them on multiple modes, but you cannot work them twice on the same band, the same mode. So I spot that right away for you. And as you start to enter the call sign of the station you hear and wish to contact, it will say possible dupe, as you, duplicate. We call them dupes. No, nothing personal. And once you complete the entry, it'll either accept it or say duplicate. And so you'll hear probably when you're contacting somebody, you'll give them your information. They'll be, sorry, you're a dupe. Don't take it personally. It only means that you're a duplicate. It's not, they're not insulting you. So anyway, as you can see, the classes are over in the lower right-hand corner. EMA is Eastern Mass, for instance. ME is Maine. MN or NH, New Hampshire. And then get into California again. We have, we have a bunch of them just for the state of California. Some of them are pretty obvious. LA being Louisiana, LAX being Los Angeles. And somebody put a dot on LAX for me. Thank you. And ORG, Orange. So, and that's region, the numbers are the regions. So you can see region 6, where Eric's circulating. I assume Eric's doing that. That's your region 6. So if it's a 6 call, you go there and their section would be, one of those more than likely.
Ray, since we got you on here, because this question always comes up when we're doing logging software at Field Day, why don't you just go through all of them and tell them what they are real quick? I'll highlight it. Yeah,
you can see under call, where you'll start is under call, which is left side, middle of the page. And Eric conveniently put his own call sign in there. Perfect. So you'll hear a station and they're strong, I want to work them. So you'll quick type in W6INE. It'll either tell you if you're a duplicate or not. If you're not, good deal. Oh, and by the way it knows that, you have to be sure before you start operating to fill in the band and the mode. That's down in the lower left. You can see band 15, which we can't really do for Field Day. You can do it for other kind of things. And mode phone. Could be phone, CW, digital. So that you need to make sure you set that up at the very beginning and be sure to change it every time you change bands and or modes or both. Be sure you make sure that is correct. So then you hear a call, you enter it. You may not have the class right away. He'll acknowledge you. You give him your class, and then they'll return with their class and their section, which you see class and section. And then you hit enter, and it's logged. Let's see. Oh, okay. Greg's doing something else. I'm just looking at a text message there that doesn't really have. They're working on the recording, I think. So what else can we say? What is the class? Okay. The class is, we talked about, most of us will be a 1 delta, 1 transmitter, and at your home station, 1 delta, 1 echo, 1 Charlie, mobile. So that's your class, is the number of, actually the class is your number of operators too. So you will have, if you're a 1 delta, that means you have 1 transmitter and you can have 1 or 2 operators. Does that answer your question, Tim? You can, if you are home, yes, you could be a 1 Delta. You could be a 1 Charlie. You could be mobile. You could be a 1 Echo on emergency power. So it depends on what class you choose. So yes, as Steve says, if you're at home with a single transmitter, you're a 1 Delta. That's correct. So there you go. And most of us are going to be, 1 Deltas or Charlies, or more than likely Deltas and Echoes.
There's one other thing to put in the logging software, Ray.
Okay,
Is
go ahead.
if you configure the operator's name and initials
Oh,
up at
okay.
the top before you start typing in. So if you sit up, walk away, get some water, whatever, and your brother, who has a call sign, of course, comes in and works your station, he needs to be logging any contacts he makes. And at field day, in the past, a lot of time is spent correcting the operator's initials, which it doesn't take long to do. You just go back and edit them. Someone who's better at networking than I could probably set up a VPN for us to use, where we could still have a central server and everybody checks into that live with their logging software, just like we do when we're all in the tent, so we can see duplicates, all that good stuff on the fly.
Well, yeah, except we can duplicate. Each of us operating at home or in our backyard or out at a campsite operates under their own call. And that's the neat thing. Is going to be some big scores here, because each of you will use your own call. You log. So Steve, you and I can talk the same station, same mode, same band.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we don't need to be coordinating that way. Now, when it's all done, you will enter, when you fill out the entry form, at the very top of the form, and I should have made a slide showing that, and I apologize for not. But again, it's in that information packet. You'll get all the entry forms that you need. And you will put your station call, class, all that kind of thing. And then there's a name for a club. Now, to be consistent, to be sure that SOARA gets credit for all the contacts you made under your own individual call sign, we will put in there South Orange Amateur Radio ASSOC. Now that's on the entry form, not on the logging software, but let's not get confused about that. The ARRL front page of the entry form. What the logging software will do the logs for you, and you could submit copies of those, but you still have to fill out the front page. And then you can scan it, submit it electronically with your package. But
Ray,
go ahead, somebody.
This is Jimmy, KK6TDL. And
yes,
last year, I submitted the login data to AWL.
Right.
On behalf of the club. But
correct.
This year, since individual operators will be operating from home, so how we're going to submit the login data? Should it be submitted as a club or as individual submission?
You'll do both, surprisingly. As we understand it, and what they're telling us from the ARRL, you will make an entry at the very top. It will be your name, your call sign, your location, the class, and all the particulars about your station. About the third line at the top of the header of the entry form is club name or call sign. Well, the ARRL, excuse me, the ARRL has us listed as, in these words, South Orange Amateur Radio ASSOC period. So
right, my question is, for this year, am I going to submit the data for the club, or the individual operator will do their part?
No, Jimmy, that won't be necessary this year. Each individual will submit their own entry, but they will put the name of the club on the form. And what the ARRL is telling us is when they publish in October, I believe it is, in QST, you will find your call sign, your individual call sign, and you'll see a score there. Somewhere down and I think they kind of do it alphabetical if I'm trying to remember, somewhere down the list you'll see South Orange Amateur Radio Association, and there'll be a much bigger score there. What they will have done is everyone who writes South Orange Amateur Radio ASSOC in that club line underneath their own call sign, this is on the top of the entry form, they will, after they've calculated and verified your score, your individual, in my case, ASSH's score. Oh, he also is participating with SOARA. So they will look for all the South Orange Amateur Radio Association, ASSOC period. And they will add all those scores up. And that's the score they will also publish. So they'll publish you individually, and they'll publish the South Orange Amateur Radio ASSOC period. And I keep going over and over that because that's how the ARRL has us listed as an affiliate club. The South in all set out. So if you put in SOARA or K6SOA or whatever, they may completely miss it. Go ahead, somebody.
Yeah, Jimmy, got it. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, you answered my question.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you don't have to submit anything but your own this year, Jimmy. Good deal, huh? Okay, somebody else?
This is Rich, K6RJO. I think I read in the rules that everybody has to write that club name exactly the same way. So just to emphasize,
right.
It has to be written exactly the way Ray spelled it out.
Right. The actual word, South Orange Amateur Radio SOS, period. ASSOC. That's our official designator with the ARRL for our club.
And one other point, I think 15 meters is okay for the contest, but 12, 17, 30, and 60 would not be okay. But the bands and modes say that 15 is okay.
Yes,
15 is
I think
good,
that's
yes.
on my list back. You're correct. What they call the WORC band, World Amateur Radio Conference bands, those are the second group you listed, are not available for contesting or field day.
Right.
So somebody brought up the
Yes
entry.
and yes.
Yeah, and somewhere about the third line, you'll see a club name. It's too small for me to read with my ancient eyes, but that's kind of the entry form. There you go.
Club or
It's
group
line
name?
2, I'm sorry. Club or group name. Field day call used. That's going to be your personal call when you're operating out there in your backyard. Go to station call will be an N/A. Won't apply. And then club or group name, again, at the risk of beating this poor horse to death, South Orange Amateur Radio ASSOC period under line 2. Then your number of participants. So we won't be A's. We'll be either B's, C's, or D's, or E's. I doubt many of us will be F's. Because I don't think Mission Viejo or Laguna Niguel are going to activate their E for field day. No. And then your power source and all these things.
Ray?
Yes, sir.
Canute, somebody's filling in this form, and I know they meant well, but it says SOARA, and I wouldn't want anybody to look at that and say that also applies.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. We have to spell it out with the exception of association, which we can abbreviate ASSOC, period. That's why they give you a long line. You're correct. You're very correct. I'm glad you brought that up because, I just noticed that. It's pretty faint. So ignore the somebody's lineage in there. We can't use SOARA just as safety. because the SOARA ones may get thrown out or published separately. We don't know. If you want everything to be ours, it's best to spell it all out. Okay? Anything else?
Okay, does that look a little bit better? South, orange, amateur, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, it's important that we spell it out as the ARRL has us listed on file as an affiliate club. And I double checked that before I came up with it. Okay, did you want to? Somebody's got a smiley face. Go ahead.
Oh, could somebody pre-fill any items on that form that are the same for all of us and send it out as an email?
Well, there's
There
only
aren't
one
that
item
many
that's
going
the
to be
same.
the same for us, except for the South Orange Amateur Radio Association.
And our region or area, whatever, and I don't know, is there anything else? Is there nothing
Well,
else common? Maybe not.
Yeah, our section .org.
Keep it simple, stupid sometimes.
Yeah,
Just a thought.
.org. Yeah. Well, again, it's going to be pretty individual. Because the call, you don't have a GoTo club or group name. We've already done that. Number of participants, 1 or 2. Number of transmitters, most of us will be 1 to be in the home class. And Brian's saying something about if they have a program to parse the entries. I assume he's talking about the ARRL. What's the rest of that sentence, Brian? It only.
I'm just saying if they use a program to parse it, then that's why it has to be the same. That's all.
Exactly. South Orange Amateur Radio
based on that need.
AFFOC is definitely safest for all of us to do. So, yeah, our section will be orange, ORG, but all the rest of it now is your power is up to you. Your class is pretty much up to you. Can we scroll up on the form? Because they're all individually your points. Is it possible to move lower on the form? Okay.
We could have members who are not in the orange section.
It's possible. They might be in LAX, you're saying?
If
they're in Long Beach, they'll stay?
San Diego or
About South Dakota.
Why
Go
not?
for it. Go for it.
Are you still a member of South Dakota?
Yeah, we do. John abandoned us and moved to South Dakota. I'm waiting till he spends the winter there.
Yeah,
anyway.
let us know how that goes, John.
I'll see you guys back in October when I get back.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So most of the rest of it is going to be particular to your station. I don't see too many things that are beyond your section. And I guess, like Heiko brings up, it's entirely possible. Now, to claim a club, you technically, again, let your conscience be your guide, you technically have to be a member in good standing of that club. All of this, of course, is done on the orange. It's done the honor system. Yes, orange. Could you put that big up again, WI6X? But it's orange, Inyo, yeah. Inyo, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, I think, as well as Orange County are in the orange section. LAX is their own thing, which is the LA area. And
Yeah,
then north of LA, you have the San Gabriel Valley section. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying,
somebody had a comment?
We're in a pretty big section here. We're a pretty big section.
We are. Geographically, we're in a huge section, but not number of hams or population-wide, because as you go up the backbone, Inyo and Kern and those counties, not so much. So, and even eastern San Bernardino. So I know poor Carl Godinez he wore out a couple of cars being section manager, just traveling all over the section. It's geographically gigantic. But anyway,
Ray,
Is
if
it
you
time?
would like, I could try to play about 10 seconds of this video, see how well it comes across. I'll pause for a moment. If it's coming across okay, I'll continue to play it.
Perfect. Let's do that.
So as you can see, this is the N3F JP software. This is what we use at Field Day at Gilliland Park. It's not that expensive, really, guys. It's $8.99. If you can't afford $8.99, you got into the wrong hobby. I'm going to get that very clear. All right, let's try to roll with this video. I'll play about 10 seconds, see how it rolls. Overall, it's an 11-minute video. Here we go. Okay, just that introduction. Did everybody hear it okay? Is it really choppy? How's it going?
I got nothing.
Could not hear anything, Larry.
Nothing here
I don't
either.
think you had the speaker up.
Yeah, nothing here either.
Let's see. Let's try it again.
Audio is very low. It's there, but very low.
Sorry, I was muted. If you guys go to this guy's website, you can see this video. He explains it. I haven't actually watched it yet, but I do plan on it because I downloaded the software. I just can't figure out how to get the audio out very loud on this without doing it on the fly, so I apologize for that.
It's a really good video. It's very explanatory.
But this is the guy's
I
website.
recommend people do that.
Yeah, and here's the contest log. You can download it. He also allows you to download logs for a whole bunch of other contests. So if that's your thing and you want to use one software, he offers an upgrade for it for an additional price. It's about $40, I think, for doing a whole bunch of other types of contesting other than field days. So that's up to you. But just for ARRL contest field day, $8.99. That's great bang for the buck. Honestly, if you can't afford that, get out of ham radio.
Eric,
Easy, boy, easy.
Yeah, you do know the definition of ham, don't you?
Yes.
What it stands for? It stands for had a lot of money. Emphasis on had, because you spend it on your hobby.
Yeah, well, at least once a month he gets a paycheck from somebody, so knock it off.
comment?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, it's Knut. I downloaded this software, and it's no charge unless you want to sign up for the upgrades and any service. But you can download the software itself for free. And I went ahead and paid the $8.99 because I had it.
However, the free software only limits you to, I believe it's 30 contacts. Once you log in contacts, you're done. So.
Okay, I missed that. But maybe, yeah, I might not make more than 30.
If that's the case, Knut, you can just log manually, fill out the forms. But no, and for the $8.99, he also will give you free annual updates if the ARRL makes any changes or he improves his software. So, or he needs to include another operating system, So he will. So for $8.99 is basically like a lifetime membership to N3FJP's amateur radio software contest log. Tim wants to know if there are bands the group wants to focus on. Well, that's going to be largely limited, I think, by your individual antenna at home. And so my case, I'm probably going to top out at 40. I just don't have enough real estate for an 80 meter or 160 meter antenna, temporary antenna. Now I have a fixed mounted vertical that is capable of doing 80. but I'm going to be operating in the temporary portable class.
We lost you, Ray.
His points, no pun intended. One of the ideas of giving you this information is so you can pick a class that will work well for you and that will help you maximize points if that's your goal. So does that make any sense, Tim? Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I had nothing to add. Since I got audio, guys, I just made the webcams active. If you want to turn on your webcams and say hi, go for it. Now that we're done with most of the presentation. Keep going, Ray. I had something on my mind and I totally forgot.
Comment. This is Heiko. Comment to all of those of you who are new to HGF. During the daytime, 10, 15, and 20.
Okay, yeah.
40 and 80. Ray, let me finish, Ray. Depending on what antennas you have available to you, for example, I have a nice 10-meter vertical. I also have a 10 through 80 meter dipole, but I would concentrate on 10, 15, and 20 as long as you have daylight. When you don't, go to 40, 80, or 160 if your tuner will take it. Back to you, Ray.
Okay, yeah, and I just wanted to point out, and just before the meeting started, 20 lit up, and then we're about looking at the waterfall on the North Utah SDR, since I don't have a radio sophisticated enough to have its own pen, whatever you call it, the waterfall. 20 lit up. There were probably 25 stations. So, you know, people talk about the bands being dead. And yeah, band conditions do vary, but it's amazing how really quote unquote dead bands light up on field day because people try them. Some of the bands are dead just because everybody thinks they're dead and don't try them. So listen around to what's hot. Look at the you might want to bring up the Northern Utah SDR if you're familiar with that. Google Northern Utah SDR. It's actually a network of several software-defined radios that you can log into, adjust the frequency, listen to, and you can see a band-wide waterfall, and you can see where there's a lot of activity.
Hey, Ray?
Yes, sir.
There's a limit on how much bandwidth that SDR can provide. And on field day, I believe you're not allowed to use internet-based receivers to help complete your contacts. But I think you could use it to see if a band was open, and that wouldn't kill anything. But for people who are doing FT8, if you have the JT Alert program active, you can look and see how many people are active on each band and mode worldwide. Kind of give you a clue as to what might be workable, or use the pskreporter.info website, which also gets kind of slammed, so it can respond slowly, but even some of your CW stuff will get automatically spotted up there. You can see where your antenna is radiating. So if you set your antenna up the week before, you can get a good idea where your shack is going to be able to communicate before you even get involved.
Yeah, perfect. And I advocate everybody doing a practice run on their station and setup and all of that this coming weekend, because that's 1 week before field day. And a lot of people are wanting to delay this meeting for a week, or somewhere advocating that. But one of the reasons I didn't want to do that is a lot of people are going to now need experimental time to construct wire antennas possibly, those kind of things. Once they kind of absorb the information we put out. So your home shack, not so much. But if you're going to go portable, like most of us, to maximize our points and to be in the true spirit of field day, then we need a little time to play. So yes, Steve's right. Play and try and see what works and what doesn't for you. Anybody else? Anything?
Ray, question. Hang on a second. Mr.
Sure.
Hoover, are you able to, by chance, this was something I asked for, put up an FT8 in motion and show how to set it up for a Foxhound mode? You're dead, Mr. Chips. You're dead. No audio.
Wake your microphone up.
Quick PTT.
All right, we'll wait. Nod your head if you can do it, though. Maybe? I can pull mine up and share screen if you can direct it.
What would Foxhound be used for? Don't they?
If I can get Mr. Chips on audio. I know, Ray, help me. Our speaker who's going to be speaking in July about Goose Island.
I'm going to blank too, Steve.
Arnie, N68.
Arnie, okay, yeah.
California.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Arnie's done it, and he didn't have time to explain it in the last meeting, but if someone knows how to do it, that'd be...
I know what it's for.
Pull it up.
Bill. I think Tim has a comment that maybe too many people unmuted. We're starting to get a lot of background artifact noise.
Yeah, if you guys don't need to talk, go ahead and just mute yourselves to avoid any background. But don't all stop talking on my account.
Okay.
Charlie just had a comment. Can you come in live, Charlie? You say that it being the N3 FJP software, is that what you're talking about? That only works on... could you put that message up again? Don't need Foxhound for field day. Okay, thanks, Dana. Charlie, can you come back with that message you just sent?
Hey, Ray, Charlie's message is good to know it only works on Windows, Edge / Explorer and not Chrome. So don't use
Okay. Now, is that FT8 or N3 FJP software? I don't know what he's talking about exactly.
Charlie, are you there?
WebSDR.
WebSDR only works on those programs, not on
Most of them are Chrome centric because they use HTML5. Some of them do, and you can get Edge to work if you're really determined, but usually people just use Chrome.
Okay, but that's for now. Charlie FZY was saying that Chrome doesn't work for something, and I'm not sure what he's talking about. Charlie, you there?
Charlie's there. I see him on audio, video. Go ahead, Charlie.
It's like push to talk. Click on your mic.
It shows it's got mic, but we got no audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows your audio's on, Charles, but you're not. Or Charlie, sorry. It shows you got audio, but we're not hearing you.
If you're using a headset or something, check for a second mute physically on your headset or webcam mic other than the mute that's in the GoToMeeting itself. I had to quit and rejoin to get my audio to work. When you mass muted everybody, it killed me.
Sorry. But yeah, according to Dana, we don't need to do Foxhound mode for field day on FT8, if I understand that correctly from all the comments. So that's cool to know. I guess if you're DXing from an island in the middle of the Pacific, you do need to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta remember, folks, they're basically, and Dana can correct me if I'm wrong, there are basically two ways of playing the game. One is you find a frequency, you sit on it, you call CQ. That works. And when you run out of stations who are willing to talk to you, then the other thing to do is go looking up and down the band, each band, for stations that you have not worked before. And when there's a break, you call them. Those are the two main different ways of getting in touch on field day.
Right, and I'd like to add to that, it's just bad form to hijack somebody's frequency, and some guys do it almost accidentally. They're the excitement, if you will, of the moment. They'll make a contact with somebody who was calling CQ, and then they'll say QRZ, which means they're waiting for somebody else to call them. QRZ literally is who's calling me. So that basically, welcome back, Charlie. That just you just hijacked the guy's frequency. That upsets people. So there you go. Just be careful of that. If you're doing search and pounce, which is the second thing that Heiko talked about, tuning up the band and finding people, be sure you don't hijack somebody's frequency after you make a contact with him. Okay, that's I'm off my soapbox now.
Okay, I think we've covered most of what we wanted to cover for the field day presentation. Obviously, this is a much more lively conversation when we are in presence at the Murray Center. We did want to have some Q&A sessions, and anybody that has comments to throw out there. So maybe this is a good time we can start moving into that mode. Do you agree, Ray? Just give me a hand if you say yes.
Eric,
right.
We have an unanswered question in the chat room from a prospective member, Anthony.
Just about
OHV? OVH? I'm sorry, Anthony.
OKV.
I remember seeing it. OKV. Anthony, go ahead and ask your question.
Ask your question.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we got half of it.
I'll read it out. My son and daughter are prospective SOARA members. Will be joining as a family once they get licensed this summer. Can we help the club by making contacts on 2-meter 440 transceiver? Your phone, packet, and APR is capable.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's right, Heiko. Anthony, I think he's the one that his membership is pending, or Ed, or is he actually a member now? I don't remember.
I believe we've already cleared him.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so, yeah, absolutely they can. Because the person whose call they'll be operating under, and you've got to pick a call for your field day and use that call. If you're operating a home station in a family group, you generally want to pick a call, and that's the call you're going to use, and that person would be the control operator if a person was either unlicensed or not licensed for the HF bands, let's say, and they wanted to work them. That's fine, and absolutely.
Hey, Ray?
Yes, go ahead.
Let me make it quick. To the best of my knowledge, Anthony is the only one in the family with a call sign, so I'm guessing they're going to use his call.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Yes, perfect. Yeah, he just said that on the chat. Yeah, and you'll be the control operator, Anthony, and they can operate, and you'll get one youth credit. What is it, 20 points, I think, with the slide to add score for having a youth operator.
Okay, you just kind of froze up a little bit there, Ray. Sorry, you kind of R2D2.
You can make many contacts under your supervision.
Eric, did you notice that when everybody has their video up, Ray drops out more?
No, I think it's Ray's problem, not everybody else.
Right, his connection's saturated with all the video coming through.
Someone breaks up like that, it's unique to that.
Ray has lots of problems.
That user.
So the basic answer is...
Yeah, my internet has been really flaky the last few days.
So,
Okay.
hey, Anthony, if you can hear me, send me an email, ed6y@sora.org, and we can discuss it over the telephone. That's easier than trying to do it here.
WA6RUZ with a comment.
Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, earlier you were talking about messaging at the field days. Previously, what we did is collect the messages and we send them RF-wise through WinLink. That's how we did it at field day.
Okay, I noticed Lori had made a comment about a WinLink repeater, San Clemente being the only one. It wasn't ours. I don't understand WinLink, but I think you do a lot better, Charlie. If you could maybe explain that to some of us who don't know that.
Well, in the WinLink system around here, there's 3 WinLink main post offices, to use a term that you can connect to, and I'd have to give you the frequency and the call sign for you to connect to them. I could probably do that out in an email if necessary.
Yeah, I haven't logged into WinLink in a while, so I think my subscription's totally defunct. I have to re-sign up. It's been that long. Practiced it a little bit with APRS. Not sure the APRS would fit in with Field Day, to be honest with you. So if anybody has an idea on that, go ahead and throw it out there. Do we have any other comments and questions about anything that you guys came across in tonight's presentation that's on your mind? Go ahead and throw it out there.
Did you guys record this?
Yes, we are recording this right now.
It's also on YouTube live stream. It'll go live within an hour or so of the meeting ending. Or it'll go to a recorded video then, sorry.
It'll be on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And
There's a couple of interruptions.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's a couple interruptions in the stream. I tried to increase the video resolution because someone mentioned it was a little low, and that ended up causing issues. Had to drop it back down. But it's there.
So we still got 38 people on here. I've got less than 12 that have cameras up, so there's a lot of people listening. If you guys have anything you want to throw out.
Question. Are there anybody pairing up? Is everybody working on their backyard? Is that what's going on? Is anybody pairing up?
I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to pair up and do 2 ops, and you'll still be able to be in the class, what is it, B and C categories. That's up to you. And Adam says it's a little intimidating.
Well,
it's really not.
That's the thing. Is like, this is the first time up, and I need somebody to help me. I just set up my radio in the backyard and do that, but get the software going and get everything proper. I could be wasting a lot of time.
Do the software in advance.
Yeah, that's what you should do, which is why I push to have the meeting now and not a week from now, so that people have time to find software, download it, play with it, watch the video, maybe figure out temporary antennas if they want to go portable, because after all, if you're portable and temporary, you're going to get more points. And if you can work on either emergency power or alternate power, or your 5 alternate power contacts, those are worth more points to you as well. So the true spirit of field day is we've had a serious disaster, and you're going to be maybe living in your backyard as well as operating from your backyard. So
yeah, very good.
Maybe easier to log on paper and then transcribe your log into the software so that you're not trying
Oh, I
to
got my
manage a
earphones on
lot of
too,
things
so
while
I
you're
hear the
working on
guys
radio.
talking.
I would like to disagree.
Yeah, I didn't turn on the
Easy.
stair lights yet. Oh, that's
Well, we got too many conversations here.
it's coming to a close. Maybe
Gotta
got
mute,
another 10,
mute,
15
Newt.
minutes.
Mute, Newt.
I got him.
Yeah,
I
excuse
got
me,
him.
I forgot to turn the mic off.
That's okay, Canute.
It's okay.
We
So
love
yeah,
you
so
anyway.
yeah, I can get my radio up and running on 20 and 40 meters, probably no problem. But it's just like it's the other part that scares me.
Do you need a 20-minute refresher or something, or get together on the phone for a little back and forth, or anything to help out?
Can I make a suggestion?
Max suggested, Steve, and everybody, Max suggested that we meet again next Monday night and go over it, and maybe a lot of Q&A after you've tried to digest this. I really encourage people to get the ARRL information packet. It's free. And then look at the classes in the field day rules, which is part of the info packet. At the very least, get the rules, because they spell out the classes just as we put them in the PowerPoint. And that will help you a lot deciding what class you want to be. And then from that, once you've made that decision, what class you think will work well for you, then you start tailoring your temporary setup to that. Echo, yes. What was that? Oh. Okay. It's a message from Max. Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing it next week.
Thank you, Adam.
Comment?
Eric, will you host a meeting next week, the same time, same place?
I can do a meeting next Monday if you guys want to get back together, and those who are still struggling to figure some things out, and trust me.
Yes.
This guy right here on that direction of my screen, I don't know about your screen, and across and over, just like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Is helping me out. Mr. Cooper's helping me out a lot, and I just want to get a wire up and play. I'm not highly concerned about getting mega points. I'm about getting on the air and getting some practice in and figuring it out on my own.
Yep.
I'm not that hugely competitive about the points. I just want to get it to work and have some. Honestly, guys, fun. Have fun with this. This is important.
Exactly, Eric. Exactly. Field day is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's got to be fun.
I agree.
This is why I do the transmitter hunt stuff. It's fun. Do I get it right all the time? Oh, heck no. Do most of us get this right all the time? Oh, heck no. But do we have fun trying? Absolutely. We have fun trying. That's the important part. Have fun. And if you're struggling to figure it out, then you ask for help. Like I do.
Right. Exactly, Eric. It's well said. And remember, the whole purpose of field day is to learn and test and demonstrate and experience your abilities to operate in the event of emergency. You know, the 7.0 on the San Andreas or whatever, when we need to get, because a lot of the wire infrastructure is gone, the microwave towers have been jiggled off alignment, all those kinds of things, and there's going to be a need to be able to have simple standalone communications in various areas. And that's what we're aiming at, our abilities and learning and practicing our abilities to operate under emergency and perhaps adverse conditions. So remember, that's the spirit of field day. Field day, the ARRL keeps emphasizing, it is not a contest. And then they publish scores. But that said, it really isn't a contest. It's to be able to successfully operate.
Basically, it's how to learn how to do this thing. Everybody has a first time. Everybody will learn.
Well, there
we'll all do better next time.
If your antenna has never caught on fire before, you haven't been practicing. That's all.
I would like to.
I bought some equipment recently, and it was smoked inside. You can see where it almost caught fire from someone just not using it right. So if you go to play the practice before field day, the only thing to remember is your radio has a capability of sending power towards the sky or towards the antenna, but what comes back from your antenna has to be dealt with, and that's your standing wave ratio or your antenna impedance. Keep all that under control, or keep your power levels turned down low enough to where the reflective power is not enough to overheat your radio or crack your final transistors, and you should do fine. Everything else is gravy. Good grounding, practices, all that. Set your antenna up in a decent location, et cetera, but protect your equipment first. After you protect yourself with some shade, hats, water, all that, but keep your equipment in operable condition, hook up whatever you can to it, and practice a bit on a regular basis, and field day will be just something fun that you do. I see and sense a lot of stress from people who've never done it before. I was the same way my first field day with SOARA, in fact, when we had it at an elementary school in Mission Viejo, and one of our antenna towers buckled while we were raising it. So, all sorts of weird, bad things can happen, but that's what this is for, is to get you prepared in case you really are needed.
I would like to put in a plug for VHF, UHF. 6 meters, 2 meters, 220, 440. They're loads of fun, easy to get on. You don't have to have big antennas or lots of wire strewn around here and there. It's going to be FM, vertically polarized, so you put up a nice big vertical monopole, and it's easy contacts, easy fun.
No comment.
Yeah.
I spent the last.
No comment, but look for the comment. Okay.
Exactly.
Lauren, the comment is the last 25 years.
VHF, UHF on this thing?
Excuse me, say again?
We can operate on VHF, UHF for this field?
You haven't been listening, Tim.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening, I just missed that part.
Just not on repeaters.
Yeah,
Well, you can do a satellite repeater or an amateur television repeater, I believe. But other than that,
right. Yeah.
No voice repeaters.
For ATV points, yes.
Actually, no, wait a minute. No.
I
You had to do
can add the PowerPoint to the presentation or the I can add it as a oh gosh, what was the other one Debbie put forth out, Ray? Not the PowerPoint, but the other version. Anyway, I can post that up on the web if you guys want to look at the slides in a different format. I can put it up on the website.
But the rules say one satellite contact.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's not the only VHF, UHF contacts.
No. You can do VHS simplets all day long.
Lauren,
you can do packet radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have the floor, please?
Sure.
Yes, because you run VHF all the time when you do field day. So Heiko,
Lauren, have you ever been to a field day at SOARA?
No, I do field day at other places.
Okay, let me tell you how we work this. We do all our EHF from our base area. We'll do all of our VHF, UHF, slightly offset from that base area. For the last 20 plus years, I've been running everything from 6 meters up to 1.2 gig, having fun on all of those frequencies. And we do it regularly enough. So for everybody who's listening, VHF and UHF work. They work reasonably well. If you have a good beam on that day, you can go all the way up the Central Valley with 2 meters and 6 meters, and you can go a lot further when the skip is in. Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with VHF at all. It's certainly fun. Someone raised a hand.
Charlie, you're still no audio coming through. Sorry. Can you type a question or a comment? Yeah, go ahead. We'll wait.
While he's doing that, Heiko on 6 meters, are you doing FM or SSB?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And AM too, right?
The only thing I don't do is digital or CW. Somebody else has to do that.
Okay.
And last year on the vertical, in the batting cages, I was doing some 6 meters, and I flipped up there for some PSK 31, and it was opening up enough to where I'd worked everybody, and I think I got a couple voice contacts there too. But you just got to try it to know if it's working or not.
Yep.
And that lends the following offer. I put the pads cannon in the Jeep the other night to help a club member reshoot their antenna. I still have it in there. If you pick up a fishing pole or some sort of fishing line, some spider wire, I can swing by and shoot a wire up in your tree for you if you have a decent location to do that in your backyard. And then you'll have some string there, and you can pull up some wires and experiment with antennas.
I'll close. Somebody just, I think it was Charlie, had a question. Am I on? Hello?
You're there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my internet's being flaky again.
There's a note.
I think it was Charlie who said the question. Oh, how do you call CQ on VHF, UHF? Same way you call it on HF.
Yeah,
exactly, Brian. CQ field A, CQ field A, CQ field A. And of
you
course,
can say the band if you want. On any of the bands, you can say CQ 20 field day or CQ 2 meters or however you're comfortable doing it.
Oh, exactly. And that's
idea for this Saturday. Do we have a SOARA Saturday subject yet?
No, and I'm back, so I might even be willing to volunteer to do it.
Well, I was going to say, would it be fun for people to do a practice field day where we sort of coordinate and say, okay, everybody spread out and go to this block of frequencies for 10 minutes and go to that block.
We can do that, Rich.
And use the repeater to coordinate, but have people going to different bands.
Rich, let's do it this way. Let's start on 2 meters and 440 on the repeater, and anyone and everyone who thinks they have a reasonably good antenna on either of those two bands, or 220 or 1.2, we can coordinate and we can do simplex, which is what the contest is, on all of those bands on specified frequencies. That's not a problem. That'll give those folks who've never done this some practice. And the difference between VHF, UHF, and HF is the distance. That's the only difference.
Good point.
And when we, if we want, on field day, and even for SOARA Saturday, if we want to be on the air on simplex or HF, we can still coordinate through one of the repeaters. Probably 44718 is the most universal for everybody. So we can discuss what we're doing over that and then be operating on either HF or VHF, UHF simplex. Does that make sense?
I'm hoping you can coordinate on Santiago all day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's have a contest this Saturday. We're going to have a miniature fielding VHF, UHF contest. And what we're going to do is coordinate the first part of the meeting, get everybody together, figure out what frequencies we want to work on, and then let everybody call each other on those frequencies. How does that sound?
Yeah, we call that a band walk. Sometimes Richard and I and some others will do that after the nets on Sunday morning. Try every band your radio can do.
Yep.
We should try to do that on HF as well, not just VHF.
Exactly.
We do. We start at 10 and we go down to 160 and then up to 6.
Yeah, let's try doing some of that on Saturday or Sunday.
Guys, I'll be right back. I need a refill.
I'd be up for it.
Is this at 9 a.m. regular time?
Yeah, 9 a.m. Saturday, SOARA Saturday.
And people who haven't ever used a logging software before, can you put it in a practice mode and start doing contacts?
Sure.
I think there is a practice mode in N3, right? For training. We used to be getting in trouble because your practice stuff was stuck in the database and someone had to clear it out. before field day started.
Yeah, but that is because we were all late, Steve.
Right.
Yeah, it could be.
Individuals should be easy to reset.
That won't be a problem.
So if anybody needs to do that, yeah, get your software ready. I'm not going to, because I'm going to be away from power, and my laptop won't last.
So Bill had a comment about 6 meters a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
So great.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, where's your camera? I like your shack.
Oh, well, I turned it off because I didn't want to soak up bandwidth. Anyway, I was on FT8 earlier this evening before the meeting, and I got the strange grid coordinator thing on 6 meters. I made about 5 contacts on 6 meters from here up the coast to Washington, Seattle. But I looked up the grid locator, and it was Antarctica.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was really surprised. So, the bands are being nice to us. But he came through one time, and that was it.
You can hear McMurdo sometimes on 6, and sometimes they're on 20, 15, I think.
Yeah, but the band's FT8 was live all the way from 6 all the way down through 40, which is as low as I go.
Who is McMurdo?
McMurdo Station is at the Antarctica Research Center.
All right. Got it.
So there's hope for this upcoming field day on the higher frequency bands.
Yeah, and remember, just to clarify, folks, your class is the number of transmitters on the air at any given time. It is not the number of radios you have. So as long as you and when you're operating alone, you're pretty much going to have to do this, but transmit on one radio at a time. So you can have a 6-meter radio that you can work for a while. You can have an HF radio that you work bands on for a while. You can have a 2-meter 440 that you work for a while. It's still only one transmitter. So you're still in your transmitter class 1, because that's what's on the air at any given time. Does that make sense?
There's a time delay if you switch bands before you can go back to the same band, right, Ray?
10 minutes.
I believe it's 10 minutes, but
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to stay on one band 10 minutes before you can transmit on another band.
Can you listen to more than one radio though, and switch bands that way?
Sure. You can listen to as many radios as you want.
Okay.
But you can only transmit on what your station call is set for.
Yeah, as long as they're local radios at your QTH, that's fine, but you can't use internet SDRs.
Okay, roger that.
Craig, welcome. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Steve, I thought you said something different before, but maybe you were suggesting using the SDRs before the contest to get used to it.
Yes.
But it sounded like you were saying it was okay to use during the contest. And during the contest last year, you told me I couldn't.
You can't use them to complete QSOs.
But you can use them just to listen and spot?
Exactly.
You can listen for band conditions.
Okay. Spot.
Well, yeah, okay. Conditions. There's a radio operator on that band, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good indication of what bands are active at the time.
And that's assuming you can even get into it. Because
Yeah.
the max user count's going to be reached, 20 minutes before field day starts.
Yeah.
A comment.
Comment. Go ahead.
Thanks, Eric. Comment about all of this. On most real contests, this is the ARRL, it's not a real contest. On most real contests, most stations will warm up the day before because they're not emergency. They're, say, the WPX or the CQ Worldwide. They'll warm up a day or two before, so you'll find out what stations are out there well before the contest time. Not so much here with field day, because it's part of the thing is that it's an emergency kind of setup. But other than that, feel free to listen Friday evening and early Saturday morning before everything gets going. Feel free to listen. Only contact folks under your non-field day category kind of thing. Don't try to get an early head start on contesting. Thanks, Eric. Sorry.
That's okay. I forgot where I left off anyway.
Well, is it time to?
Not so much questions. Does anybody have comments based on their own field day experience and what we're going into operating as? I'm going to assume most people, at least myself, are going to be operating as a 1D. I know some of you guys are going to go battery power and go for points and all that other stuff. I'm trying to keep it simple, stupid.
Well, whatever you choose, make sure you know the rules and make sure you stay within the rules for whatever or thing you are. I've used 1D before out in the middle of no place on a permanent setup that belonged to someone else. Works fine. But if you're going to do Alpha, Bravo, or Charlie, check the rules, please.
Hey guys, I'm gonna stop the live stream on YouTube. So
go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Wave bye.